Mhm. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
What's going on?
Feel
Jeremy, glad to
free
see your
to
face. Glad to see some familiar faces.
feel free to
Wilson
turn your
here.
camera on and
Yeah.
join us.
Adrian, my man, what's going on?
Morning,
If
doing
you
good. How are
if
you
you guys
guys?
will add in the chat where you are joining us from, and then where if you have a short-term rental property, where it is.
Yeah, and also if you're managing yourself or if you have a team or maybe a little bit breakdown of what's going on with your company. Jeremy, I know what's going on with you. I'm gonna save you a lot of time, buddy.
We're gonna let some people trickle in.
And can you save me time setting up this new property? This is a beast.
We're working on it. We're working on
Where's
some
your
stuff.
property, Jeremy?
This one's San Antonio or outside in
Nice.
Helotes, a big six
Cool.
bedroom hill
Oh,
country property.
Yeah.
I've got it doing some pretty cool stuff inside of Airbnb. So there's definitely some possibility. What's going on, everybody? Wow, a lot of people showing up. It's awesome.
Deandra is managing up in British Columbia. Hi, Preeti.
Hi.
We'll give people another couple of minutes to trickle in, maybe 3 minutes, and at 8:05 we'll get going.
Oh, cool. Jess just commented saying, coming in from North Georgia. I'm with Dave at Five Star Co-host, and we manage roughly 40 and growing across parts of Maine and Massachusetts.
Oh, hey,
So good.
awesome. Jess, I've heard a lot about you. Dave talks about you all the time. Dave's actually one of the guys that kind of put these bugs in my ears to get this going. And I don't know if Matt's on here, but my coach Matt, he's definitely one of the guys that pushed the needle to get me to get out of my comfort zone to pull this off for you guys. So I was gonna just do a demo and then dump it off online, but I got a lot of interest, so I figure, hey, let's just get on the live, get to know some people, and I'll show you guys what I've been up to.
Absolutely.
How many people here take a lot of time doing STR comps for potential clients? Put a one in the chat if you're manually doing this, and it takes you more than an hour to get one done.
And that can be on Airbnb, AirDNA, however you run comps.
However you do your comping.
Currently paying someone else to do it for me, so I have no idea. That's from
Cool.
Christina.
Are you paying your VA to do it, or are you just paying somebody to go out and just do comping, Christine? You can come on and unmute yourself,
No,
have a
I'm
chat.
just paying my realtor does it. So he does both, realtor, and then he has a business that does revenue management. But
Cool. What
he's
does he charge?
500 bucks a month, so I figured I should probably start learning how to do it.
Okay,
Oh
well
my
you
gosh,
you don't
yeah.
even have to learn how to do it. I'm going to
He's
show you what
crushing
I
it so
do.
far. So I mean, that's less than one night stay for me a month.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But it would be a nice steak dinner out with somebody if you didn't have it. I mean, 500 bucks,
Correct.
500 bucks. But
Yeah.
that's nice though, because you just flip them over. And what's his turnaround time? When does he get you these reports?
I don't have reports.
He doesn't give you anything? He doesn't get you. What does he give you?
Well, I don't know, nothing yet.
Okay,
Mm,
cool.
I'm a new listing, so we started mid-December, so I don't know if he does it quarterly or if he just doesn't do reporting. I can just see my calendar. But I have AirDNA and I've got Price Labs for my other property.
Yeah.
But Price Labs, I just set it and forget it and realized now that that's not what I should be doing, and I'm leaving a lot of money on the table.
Well, good thing the next automation demo I'm going to do is actually a script that actually goes into Price Labs for you. It'll analyze everything and it'll give you some recommendations based on what's going on. So
Well,
that's
that's the other thing is my revenue manager right now, he really focuses on Airbnb through Price Labs and then tweaking an Airbnb.
yeah,
And I'm really, I mean, my other property, I have a ton of people that are coming to me direct because they're either return people or, they see my branding and come to me. And he doesn't touch this. So I need to really focus on VRBO and direct.
yeah. No,
yeah.
it's a complicated thing, but these automations are they're saving me a lot of time. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
think we're going to get the most amount of people. So 33 people. That's awesome. Thanks everybody for showing up. Some of you here know me, some of you don't. My name is Ryan. I'm up in Canada. I manage a short-term rental property company called Solna Stays with my wife Dee. I'm a pilot. She's a nurse. So when it comes down to actually managing and doing the day-to-day, if she's doing CPR and I'm out flying somewhere, we can't do anything. So we had to come up with a solution to try to get some processes in place and some automation so that we can get things done. And just in the last few weeks, we've been getting bombarded with comps. So a lot of realtors are coming up with us with clients and doing comps and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with comps today. So how many, I know I just asked this question, but how many people here cringe when they have to log into AirDNA to do comps? Put them one in the chat and put a two in the chat if you actually enjoy going in there and uh, and doing that stuff. I know I cringe. I freaking hate AirDNA. When I got to log in there, I logged in there last week for something. I don't know why, but see, so I do see some ones in the chat. So everybody cringes. I cringe when I can't stand it. So um, yeah, it's a rabbit hole for me. Exactly. It's and Price Labs. Price Labs is better, but here's the problem with Price Labs. It's hard to Price Labs is good to get the information to comp, but what the problem is that how do you when a client or a potential prospect comes up to you and says, "Yeah, I want to buy this property," or somebody wants to switch their management company over, what does that look like? So you have to go out there and in AirDNA scrape a bunch of data, and then once you have that data sat on there, you're pretty much gonna have to find a way to get into Canva and do what you got to do to get it presentable to a client. So how many of you have a headache with that? Is that something you guys like to do, or what do you guys, and you guys could unmute yourselves for a second here. What do you guys typically do to present this to your clients? What we
I'll
try?
go. I mean, I know that for me, like I was sharing with you earlier, I'm just having to download the PDF. I mean, log in, run the comps, make sure the comps are accurate for the subject property, and then download the PDF and then send it to my clients. And I am using AirDNA for the most part.
Cool. All right. So what I've done is just developed a few processes that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing and comping stuff. So I'm usually spending about 2, 3 minutes on a comp. I launch it off to my AA guy. He comes out, he emails me this awesome comp set, and then I just flip it over to my client. So that's one of my biggest pain points. Now let's just unmute yourself. What else do you guys find that is painful? Like obviously revenue management's pain in the butt. How much time do you guys spend on bookkeeping and emailing receipts and having your VAs um, enter that, doing the data entry that, they could probably be spending their time doing better things.
We have a
Nobody?
bookkeeping team that kind of manages all that for us right now.
Perfect. So you're sending an email to, are you using Dex or some kind of third-party app, or are you just emailing the receipts and then they kind of put it in a spreadsheet?
We have like an app that we're using that our bookkeeper lets us use so we can upload receipts directly to it, email receipts so it all gets directly sent to them and everything too.
Cool. All right. Does anybody here do any of their own bookkeeping or having their VAs do data entry?
Me, we use Odoo and we're doing it as if we were in the 1990s.
Okay. So there's an automation out there that I've been working on that we'll also demo later on. Is that it's pretty much you're gonna do the same process you're doing today, but then the AI is gonna go out and grab those emails, read them, put them in a spreadsheet, categorize them, and then give you a monthly summary, just like your bookkeeper and accountant would do. So these are the kind of these are the kind of things that you can we can get done. So I'm just trying to solve as much pain as I can for our business because it's some of this has been painful. We have two VAs that work, one full time and one part time. But even as things ramp up, as we get the inquiries from the clients, the guests, and whatnot, it starts to get pretty long, and especially when it's in comping. When you get 4 or 5 comps at once, we were just getting bombarded. So we came up. I want to show this one first because we just came up with an automation that would just take care of the comping for us. Log into AirDNA, log into Airbnb, scrape all the data. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll kick off George, and I'll show you guys what George can do, and I'll kind of just show how I have them set up. So it's not necessarily how you guys have to have it set up. And I've already ran a couple of comps today because sometimes it does take a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of show you how I've been running comps. All right. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So to do this, I am running Manus, of course, which is an awesome AI platform, and it's got a custom prompt and a custom HTML file. So what I do is I'll just run this one again. Does it here? Somebody give me an Airbnb link. Does anybody have an Airbnb link that they could show me of their own Airbnb? And we could try to run it on that and see if it'll finish up before the end of the call, and then I could show you kind of what it spits out. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll send you one. If somebody else sends one in the chat, though, you can use theirs.
I just sent mine in.
Perfect.
So I'm just gonna say, hey, George, comp this Airbnb. And George is going to go to work. He works in the background on my computer. He's all AI based, and he has access to my entire computer. He's got access to my Google Drive, my emails, pretty much my whole entire life. So now George is gonna send off a command, and you just see he just did, and he sent it off to this guy. So now Manus has read George's script and is gonna go in and log in and start doing his thing. So now he's going to read the stuff that I've sent to him. So he already has a skill set and he has a prompt that's saved in my Google Drive that's going to read that prompt. Then he's just going to go out to the internet and do its thing. It usually takes about 20 minutes to half an hour. And George just reported back to me. So he said, yeah, step one done. I hope he doesn't swear at me. Sometimes he swears at me. So hopefully he's cool today. George is launched. He's done his task ID and he's running. So he's running two of them right now. So there's already, and you can run these side by side. So if somebody shows up with 5 properties, you can just punch them all in there and Manus will go to work and it can run it can run as many as you want. The only thing is it's a token-based platform, so you do pay for it, but I'm literally right now down to about maybe $1 or $2 per report. Anybody have any questions about what's going on so far?
If
What
you
makes you
do, just
choose
drop.
Manus
Oh,
versus other ones? Sorry.
Why Manus over the other ones?
Yeah, there's so many. That's where I get confused with AI. It's like, how do you know which
No.
one to work with?
Manus is a builder. So it likes building applications and it likes building um, websites. It likes building. It's a more of a robust AI. It's not a kind of a chat AI where you're going to chat with it. So I use a combination of multitudes of AI. So I use obviously ChatGPT at the very bottom. So that's probably the one that I use the least. But I like chatting with it because it knows everything about me and my business. We built it together. So I could ask it a lot of questions, which is awesome. And then my go-to is Claude. Excuse me. My go-to is Claude, Claude Code, and Claude Cowork for using the Anthropic products. That is what's powering my entire computer and my AI system. So and you can pull this off in Claude, and I did try it, and I did try it with my own AI, and developed like just scripts that would automatically go and do this through browsers. But what I found is they weren't as stable as Manus. I could trust Manus to go out and do that work, and when it runs into a hiccup, Manus will automatically figure it out. So it's just very, very robust. So I really like it for building code and building apps or any type of websites, marketing. So you guys saw the funnel that I built. I did that really quick. I actually had Manus build the entire thing. So Manus logged into my Go High Level account, and it just built everything out. And then I had my awesome VA team, shout out to them, Adrian, and Christine, they're on the call, and they just went in and just did a couple of tweaks to make sure everything would flow and to make sure I didn't screw anything up or my AI didn't, because I don't know anything about Go High Level. I literally don't. I cannot set it up. So it did that for me in about 6 hours. So that's
So
short
your
answer.
Manus actually goes into your Go High Level to build out your pipeline?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It built
Yeah.
it built the pipeline, it built the HTML emails, it built all the templates, it built the opportunities area, it built everything.
Is that just through the available MCP that's out there? Or is that because that didn't seem to do anything with workflows?
No, the MCP won't allow you to create an actual funnel. So they do have an MCP connection where you can do some stuff, but the funnel didn't let you. So I just, I told Manus to figure it out. I gave it some parameters, some prompts, and it just went to town. So it's really robust. I find it's a little bit more robust when you have to log into things. So I'm going to show you a little bit on what's going on here in the background. So if we pull up the Manus computer, I'll just maybe pull up this one. It might be doing some cooler stuff. So you can see it working in action here. It's just literally working through the actions you would be doing. So it's log into Airbnb, it'll log into AirDNA, it'll go back to Airbnb, it'll go to AirDNA, to get all the right photos, to get the right pictures, to get the right information. So once it finds its comps, it has to actually go back to Airbnb to get some of the photos to make it look awesome. So do you guys want to see what the final product looks like?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what it spits out.
Also, Ryan, can you define what MCP stands for?
Um, I'll just dumb it down a little bit, but it's just a way to connect other third-party apps through a connection. So a lot of people are starting, like a lot of people were like, let's connect. You can connect things through Zapier. So now everybody who's been connecting through other platforms are just making it easier through MCP connections. So you just literally, that's when you log into an app and it says, oh, you want to connect to Slack, and you literally just click connect. And then it brings you through a bit of an authentication and it says, okay, log into your Slack and then approve it. That's an MCP connection. So it's just a very easy way to connect native apps. Or instead of doing the API keys and getting into the very nitty-gritty stuff, they're just starting to make it a little bit easier. So it's just a one-click thing. So in Manus, you go into settings, connections, and connectors, and then you add whatever connectors that you want, and it just makes it super easy. So you can have Manus have access to your Google Drive, so it can drop things into your Google Drive, and you could also have it send out emails for you. Couple of caveats: if you work with Google, it won't automatically send the email because of Google's security protocols, but it's just going to prompt you and you click send. If you use Outlook, you're good, and some other mailers, you're good. But this is what it spits out. Um, Super nice and branded, and you can tweak this and change it. This is just kind of was working for us, and it was nice and clear. Realtors love this when we send it to them. It's interactive, so you can have a print PDF, your website. You can view the actual listing that we saw. So if I click on that, it's going to bring you to that listing. Give you a little bit of what's going on with the amenities and off seasons to maybe see if you can do anything, position yourself better to be better in the market. And then we have just a couple little things on like, hey, this is a premium location. West Kelowna is awesome. The revenue potential is pretty high there, so it'll give you that. Then this is one of the coolest features that clients love, especially when I'm sending this to an actual client or going on over their property with them on a call, because they could always tell me like, yeah, I plan on using it maybe 2-3 months out of the year. So then we can bring that down to 285 days, whatever they're thinking. And then the average daily rate, based on when they want to use it, that might like it that changes in our market quite a bit. So we always just like to say like based on when you want to use it, your daily rate might change. So we can just, taper down the daily rate because they're going to want to use it at Christmas or they want to use it in the summertime, enjoy the lake. And then our market occupancy. So we see with this kind of house, we're sitting at 43 to 73%. So, you can kind of gauge it based on your comps. And this is going to give you your projected total revenue based on all the calculations that it's done and based on the comps. Then we got the seasonal performance, super easy. And then the comps here, this is what I really like. It displays this super, super nice with almost everything that's in Airdna. It's interactive, brings you right to the Airbnb listings. And then we have just a bit of analysis and a little bit of data, what's going on, and the key assumptions that we've made. So these are what it spits out, and it usually takes about 20 minutes.
That's pretty awesome.
Does anybody have any questions on how this was done and what's going on here?
Hi, Ryan. You may have already said this. I was a few minutes late, but let's say if it were a client that hasn't had it listed on Airbnb and they just bought it and it was like a realtor ad or a Zillow ad, can it run comps based on like that data?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
you give it an address, and what I didn't run that. We can run it right now. If somebody wants to give me an address, I don't know if it'll finish in time, but yes, you give it an address, and then usually what I like to do with the address thing, and I'll kind of tell it how many beds and bath it has and what it sleeps, because on a listing, on a real estate listing, you can't really tell. Like you might be putting some bunk beds in some of these rooms, so you're like, okay, depending how I configure this. So I just usually give it a bed and bath count with an address, and she just goes. So here's an address here.
How often are you feel pretty good about the comps it pulls versus like, you know what, maybe not so much, or like, have you just refined it enough at this point where you feel pretty confident that the comps it's pulling are within the guardrails that you're setting?
Yeah, pretty confident. I haven't yet taken one comp out from
Hey
uh from
Ryan, on that address, it's 32541, not 32451.
32541.
Yep.
Do you know what it sleeps?
Sleep 16.
What's a bed and bath? Now you know what? Yeah, what's a bed and bath?
It's 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, 5.5 baths.
It's fine. I'll figure it out. All right, let's see what George thinks and see what Manus does. The script is made to handle it. I don't know if we'll have time on this call, but I could always send you the final product. But I did account for that because that's one of the biggest headaches that we're having. When people want to buy a property, we have a lot of realtors coming to us and their clients want to buy a property. They have no idea what it is and it's what it can do. The realtors are having a really hard time comping. So we've been kind of doing that. And see, like it'll find some errors, but 90% of the time it'll figure it out. It'll work through it. Unless somebody gave me a bad link. But I don't think so. All right. So then it says, okay, cool. We're gonna go check it out.
How are you? You're talking to your computer through WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay. I guess step one is like learn how to talk to your computer.
Well, so
I'm
learning
right there
how
with
like I could talk to George and say like, hey George. I mean, well that George is one of my agents. Um, I have a few agents that go out and do a few things, and you can just call them on. Now that's a bit more complex setup, which I'm happy to walk people through on a different call, which we'll talk about after. But learning how to talk to your computer is a bit of a different story. It's definitely doable, and it's something that I would love to help people doing. But it's a bit more complex. It involves a little bit more risk. But you can set Manus up to the point where you can talk to Manus from your phone to your computer through Telegram. So there's some different ways that you can do it. I just have access to my entire computer and my entire network. So my WhatsApp can search my Notion. My WhatsApp could search my entire Google Drive, could search my entire email box, and it can do a lot of other things. So it triages emails. As emails come in to me, it'll read through them, and if there's anything that it feels like is important based on the guardrails that I set, it'll send me a message, and it'll write drafts and whatnot, and it'll say, hey, like it'll keep on reminding me you haven't replied to this person, and it's probably really important. Unless I say, okay, no, I'm good with that one, and then he'll be like, all right, cool. I don't have to deal with you. But he's pretty smart at going through my inbox. I've trained him to do quite a few things, but he's easy to train, and you train him by just talking to him. So but that's a whole different ballgame. So that's when you have a whole slew of web agents that can go out and do some research for you, that can go out in AirDNA, that can go into Price Labs, that can pretty much do anything you want. So pull all the
Ryan.
stats from the Airbnb. Yep.
Can you share with everyone other examples of the types of things that you have in place that make running your short-term rentals easier? Not just running the reports, but just examples of other things that you have set up.
So we use it a lot in Price Labs. So we'll get it to go into Price Labs and do our analysis for us. It'll come in there, it'll go into Price Labs, log in, it'll read everything that's going on, it'll take a look at the market, it'll create comp sets for you based on what's going on, and then it'll ask you if you want to apply these settings. It'll give you a big analysis of what's going on in your Price Labs, where you're missing out, and maybe where you have too much of stricter rules. So it goes pretty far out. So it does have a look at that, and it'll come out and give you a bunch of suggestions. And they're not like just like dumb suggestions. It's actually really in-depth analysis. So we use that one. We use the bookkeeper quite a bit. So the bookkeeper reads our emails. When emails come through, is just how I talked about it. Um, Pulling Airbnb stats. So the first page impressions, the clicks, the all anything that's in your stats page, we can have that pulled out, put into a spreadsheet. So we use that. So these are all these little things that even a VA can do, but to have a VA do these things, it's tedious, and they could be doing way better things. So we just started using all these processes within our business with these agents, and it's been saving us hours. Now, billing this out for you guys and doing the webinar and the Go High Level, obviously I didn't save time on that part, but then using the AI allowed me to do it, because without doing that, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm using it in Go High Level quite a bit as well. I know a lot of people want to use Go High Level and don't have the know-how and are paying other people. So this is a good way to learn, because when I had the AI do it, I could see what's going on the screen. So I could see what it's doing, and every now and then it would prompt me just to change a couple of things. There are some things that it can't do in Go High Level, but it just prompts you, and it'll just say, hey, can you just do this and do that? And then I'll take control again. So it's super intuitive, where you can just like I can just go into Manus's computer right now and start seeing what it is, but I can control it. You can go in and control it. and just take over its screen.
And what about like guest messaging?
I'll be honest with you. We use HostBuddy for guest messaging and it's done really well. But what I do is I have my AI go in there and take a look at my HostBuddy rules based on the messages that I've been getting. So what you can do, and it won't connect to Hospitable. I'm kind of working on that right now. There is a way to connect my whole AI thing to Hospitable to start talking to it, but I haven't found it much value in that because of HostBuddy. HostBuddy does such a good job, and especially when you have Manus go in and take a look at HostBuddy. And what we did is uploaded all of our messages. We have all of our message database. So then we had Manus look at that, and then went and looked at the rules that we have, and it created some pretty cool stuff. So
That's awesome. Seth has a question. Seth, you can unmute
oh,
yourself.
Seth never just has one question.
I mean, obviously this is awesome and this is like incredible. And I'm like, okay. So what I'm trying to just understand is from like the holistic, like just take a step back at this, because this is one of the things that I personally, every time I get like new clients, I'm like, I don't know what to do, what to give them, what to put together. You know what I mean? So I've been looking for like exactly like something like this where I can create, some kind of report and something I can send them. So I'm trying to understand is from like the holistic, like take a step back from a holistic standpoint, like what do I need and how would I like implement this, like to be able to do this and just generate these kind of reports? Like how many things do you need? What exactly, you know what I mean? Like what's the
Yeah. So
basic?
you need Manus, which is you gotta pay for Manus. It's not very expensive, depending on what you use it for. So you would just need Manus and then the prompt and the scripts that I've been working on for 2, 3 months. So
And so
I've started this in ChatGPT. This is where I started it, and where ChatGPT is that we had to go in and copy all of the data out of AirDNA, and it was down to the point where we had to take the screenshots of the actual cards that display in AirDNA because ChatGPT couldn't figure out how to get those, and also all the image links. So ChatGPT couldn't pull the image links; it couldn't do anything. So we were then going to get all this data. We'd put it in ChatGPT, and it would spit out an HTML file. So we started off with that, and then we finally just learned a little bit and got into Manus. So you can do this with Manus and only Manus, but the prompt and the HTML output to get it to spit out that HTML every time, that's where the magic happens.
so like what is it like in terms of like if I was like, all right, this is amazing, I want to like do this. Like what is like the cost, time, setup, you know what I mean, involvement, like I'm just trying to get a sense of.
Well, I'm glad you're leading into something like this, but I was saving this for the end of the call. But what I'm offering next week on the 16th, or not next week, the week after on the 16th, I'm offering a call to set all this up for people. So if anybody here is interested in this and you find it valuable, and if this would save you tremendous amounts of times like it has for me, I'll be holding a demo, not a demo call, but a workshop. It'll be 2 hours. It is a paid workshop because this has taken a lot of my time, but for the amount that you're going to pay and the amount of time you're going to save, um, it's a huge amounts of value. So we're going to be dropping a link in there that you can sign up for, and if you want to join me, Seth, feel free to do it.
All right,
Um,
cool.
and it'll be worth your while, but you'll walk away with this exact setup that's working for you by the end of the call. And
And leading up to that call, there will also be like, hey, here's what you need. You need to go in and create an account with this and have this set up. And you'll have some homework before the call begins, right, Ryan?
yeah, but I'll give you the requirements, and if you get to the call and it's like I just couldn't do it, I'm literally going to walk you step by step on how to set up Manus. I will give you the files that I use, the prompt that I use, the HTML files that I use, the skill sets that I use inside of Manus. We'll set it up all together. The call is capped at 30 people because I can't help more than 30 people on a call. But everybody will walk away with this exact version of Manus. And then we could also hook it up to your Telegram as well, so you can be on the fly. But Manus works on your phone, so you can set it up. But we can set all that up, and you'll have this forever. There's nothing after that. Once I give it to you, you can use it as much as you want. You can tweak it. You can play with it, and if you screw up any of the files, I'm always here to help give you some guidance.
Yeah, Melissa asked, is the setup just to get clients? So Ryan actually doesn't take clients yet. Like this, Ryan created this on his own just to make his life easier, and that's where I saw what he was doing, and I was like, you like, oh my gosh, as a portfolio owner of over 200 properties myself, I'm like, I need this in my life. I'm drowning over here. And Ryan's like, well, like I'm open to teaching it to people. So, I mean, I believe Ryan should go into business doing this because he's just incredible and an expert. But he's actually just offering to help you set up yours. So then you have it on your account.
That,
Is that
and me and
right?
Michaela just met. I
Yeah.
honestly, the people that are in my short-term rental community, that not mine, but that are in STR Secrets, obviously, I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. A lot of people have been asking me for a demo. What happened was, is I left a little snarky comment on somebody's post, not snarky, but just kind of saying, hey, like I could help you out, make this a lot easier. And it just kind of blew up. And from there, between STR Secrets, people in STR Secrets really wanted to know what's going on. And the slew of other people that messaged me in my inbox, I figured this would just be easier, introduce myself, kind of show you what I'm doing and what I'm developing. There's a lot more in the pipeline coming through. I have a lot of ideas. My background is software. I went to university for computer science and math, and then I eventually went on to become a financial crime analyst. So where I wrote a lot of code, I wrote a lot of programs. AI didn't really exist back then, but we were using very similar things. So I got into the nitty-gritty of computers. I left that back in 2000, I believe, 8 to become an airline pilot. I've done that now for about 10 years, and now I'm into the short-term rental business where I don't want to fly airplanes anymore, but I'm still stuck doing it. And unfortunately, when I'm flying, I'm very limited at what I can do. So I had to really come up and use my computer skills to try to catapult it so we can actually run our business and grow. And by doing that, I realized that I could probably help a lot of you guys out.
Yeah. Okay. So Melissa just clarified and she said she's not interested in client acquisition, but interested in Manus and setup for pricing. And that's totally what
Yeah.
you can do.
It's the link will be dropped. We can drop the link, and the link will be in there, and it's 2 hour setup class, and I will promise and guarantee you that you'll be walking away with a setup exactly like this with Manus that does exactly this comp set. If you want
Ryan,
to join,
do people need a Mac mini or an external computer outside of
no.
their existing laptop or computer?
No, I just so guys, for if you guys, and I won't be setting up the open claw for you guys. That'll be a whole different ball game. If anybody wants this actual setup, DM me. We will talk. I can definitely help you. I've been setting it up on a few other people's computers. You don't need a Mac Mini to run this system. I'm running it on my entire desktop that we're on right now, and it does a very good job. It's not a heavy loaded back end program. It's not like its own LLM or nothing like that. So we can definitely talk about setting something up like this. It is convenient, but it's a learning curve.
Deandra said, and once you set this up, can you just ask WhatsApp or Telegram on the fly to create this from your phone?
You could use Telegram without getting into the nitty-gritty of things. You guys could use Telegram, and instead of having your WhatsApp like I would here, you would have your Telegram. The only thing your Telegram would only control your Manus. So Telegram is hooked up directly to Manus. What I have is I have WhatsApp hooked up to a platform that's installed on my computer. That platform then controls absolutely everything that's in my network that I choose to control.
Jeremiah's asking, can Manus do the bookkeeping and email categorizing? I'm currently using Quora to sort through my emails.
Yeah, Manus could do it all, but Manus does have access to your email. It can intercept. However, it's not live. So if you want that kind of setup, join my class, or we can talk on the side, DM me. There's a few different ways that I've worked around getting this set up. So it all depends on how deep and what layer you want to be in the AI. Because a lot of people don't trust having AI in their PC. I fully trust it because I understand it. For the people that don't understand it, sometimes you just want to be a little bit more simpler. But once it's set up, it's pretty good. But Manus can do it. It does have access to your Gmail. It can run scripts to go in there and clean it up. You can schedule tasks. You could fire off tasks through your phone, through your Telegram, to go and do these things. So there's some good opportunity there. Someone's asking about security. So there are some security risks when you're running the system that I'm running. So that's why I don't suggest it to anybody. Just go out and say, hey, I'm going to run this. I'm going to go out and run this open platform system on my computer and go in there. However, it is fairly secure because I was on a trip last week where I had my system up and running, but I was out of town. I was in Boston hanging out with some awesome people, and I wanted to have access to this. And I couldn't get access to my computer. So my computer was still on at home. I couldn't remote in. I couldn't Google in, and just something was really messed up. So I just put on my hacking hat, and during my whole 5 hour flight back home, I literally tried to hack my own system. So I did set up some guardrails to not be able to hack it, but I was not able to get in it whatsoever. So every time I tried getting in, I couldn't. I would just get access denied. So the security is fairly safe if you do set it up. So I do suggest if you want to set something up like this, that's a full system, reach out to me. I can at least give you guidance, if not help you. And if it's something that interests you, we could work together. And I can definitely help you get something like this running. But if you are going to do it on your own, you will see some YouTube videos that are going to tell you that this thing could be scary, it could go rogue, it could do some stuff. That's because it's the user. So if you use it properly, you use it for work, you don't push its boundaries, it could be a super useful tool because it's been an extremely well supported tool in our business, and it's saved me tons of amounts of time.
Tim said to confirm, will this workshop also go through the Go High Level pipeline setup?
Um, No, that could be a different workshop. I'll set this one up for the comps, and then I'll be running these workshops pretty much on a regular basis. So there'll be demos, workshops, freebies, Zooms, and then if it's something that's people are wanting ongoing support with, then maybe something that I just started a school community, whether it's free or not, but at least just to put the stuff that we talk about in there, and everybody can kind of have a vault of what's going on in the automation world.
Jeremy said, would love if you could talk about your token use and how you keep it from turning through them super fast.
Token use is about 3 to 600, depending on what that is, and I think you get about 4,000 tokens for $12. Um, Building this, I went through about 70,000 tokens, so it was a heavy build. So that's why if you guys want to go out and build something like this, you can do it. It's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. I did it for you, but it was very token heavy, so the cost on building it out just was about $300-400 for me. But then what I did is I keep on refining the code and I keep on refining the script to see how fast I can get it and use the least amount of tokens. So I'm always refining and working with Manus to say, hey, how do we optimize this? How do we get it to run quicker? How do we get it to run cheaper? And it's been working so far. So I am testing different versions of it, which run quicker and or cheaper. Unfortunately, it's like the rest of the world. You don't get two, right? You don't get the quick and cheap. You don't get good, quick, and cheap. You just get two of them, unfortunately. So if you want fast, um, yeah, you're not gonna get good and fast and whatnot and cheap. So if you want something fast, a lot of the times it's gonna cost you a lot of money. So if you send Manus on a very parallel track, it will open up tons of things and do things really fast. But then if you tell it to be efficient, it will be efficient and use the least amount of credits. So if you wanna bomb these overnight, sometimes I'll do that at night. I'll launch 3 or 4 of them, wake up the next morning, everything's in my inbox. I email it to the client or jump on the call with them, and it's just great. The clients love the interactive web page, especially when you're on a call. It blows them away. There's not one person that have looked at that. Realtors have looked at it. Anybody who's looked at it, we're just like it changed what we were in their eyes right away. As soon as they saw like we were spitting these out, they were just like, okay. And then the phones started ringing. They started bringing us clients every second day. And
Yeah.
they didn't even want to look at us until we showed them this. So until we offered them to go out to dinner with them, a little bit of whining dining. What realtor doesn't want to go out for a nice dinner? So I'm like, okay, sweet, that worked. And now we got to try to get our laptops cracked open. We finally got our laptops cracked open. They looked at that and they were floored. So when soon and then now I knew I was gonna have to spit these out like hot pancakes on a Sunday morning. And they took us hours to do just one. And then the next day the realtors came on and they just sent us like 4 or 5 properties and we're like, man, we're gonna be here all day doing these comps. We can't do that. So we ended up switching it up and moving to this system, and now it's like bring it on. Somebody brings me a property, I get like I'm excited. I'm excited to get them that comp and be like, look what we can do for you, and it's super awesome.
Okay, for the workshop, it's only for the comping, or are there other automations you will be going over?
We're gonna set up the comping. If we have time, we may go over a couple of other things that are cool but not needed, but that'll be the comping. It takes a little bit to set up, not that much, but to get it running, to get the files properly. And then what we have to do is we just got to get the branding properly for everybody because everybody's going to have
Right.
different branding. So there's going to be just a little bit of playing around together to get the branding properly onto the HTML template that we use. And then depending on how you want to change things, but if there's some time in there, I may go over some other automations, and then I'll be doing another demo sometime next week, probably with the revenue management side of things. And then if people have interest in that and want that set up, there may be another workshop after that.
I put the link for the workshop in the comments. I'll send it again now in case anybody is interested. And then Ryan, you'll send it out via email.
Yeah, everybody's going to be getting an email. And there'll also be a recording with the workshop that you guys could have and refer to. So if you have any questions afterwards, and then if you attend the workshop, you guys have access to me going forward, so you guys will be able to get some troubleshooting if anything does go wrong. I'll be there to support you through Zoom one-on-one or whatnot.
And Tim said, will you also send emails about any of the other workshops you have planned? Definitely.
Yes, anybody who signed up for this one will get any other workshop, any of the freebies that I'll do. So I'll be doing some freebies here and there, doing some paid workshops for the heavy workload stuff, because this took me quite a bit of time to develop. I've been developing this for 2 to 3 months, and now I've got it to a product where I'm super happy about. But I really want to be able to help other people. I don't want to charge people reoccurring fees, but it did cost me a lot of money to set this up. It did take me a lot of time. So the paid workshop, and it's just I want to deal with serious people. I want people that I want serious people that are serious about saving time and serious about their businesses. So I'm not asking much for the workshop. I think that $100 is going to save you about 100 hours in a month, like it has for me. So I mean, it's fairly cheap, and you walk away with this exact comping tool.
Cool.
Anybody else have any questions about? It doesn't have to be this. Could be what else we do in our short-term rental business, anything else we use, anything that might be insightful for you. We use a lot of automations and a lot of awesome tech that some people either kind of look at and don't want to use it. So I'm definitely open for any questions.
How many units do you manage with, and how many people are on your team?
We own 2 short-term rentals, we own 2 long-term rentals, and we manage 5 other properties. And we have 1 full-time VA and a part-time VA.
Okay, and you both work full time?
Yep, I'm a pilot
Mhm.
and my wife's a nurse.
Okay.
So we're pretty close out of the day-to-day, but we focus a lot on growing the company. So just now it's just full growth. We're on full mode growth mode. We have our systems dialed. We have our team in place because we can't do any of the day-to-day. So unfortunately for us, we have to step back and really dial down some systems for when we're away at work. The VAs could do a lot, but there has to be some systems for them to follow. So now once we've got everything dialed, and I could talk a little bit about the tech stack we use, but now we have everything dialed. We're pretty much set up to take in 30, 40 properties with the systems that we have and the team that we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
What other automations do you use regularly?
Zapier. So what I use a lot in Zapier, so I don't know if anybody does this to get all their numbers. So I have a Zapier connection that pretty much sends every reservations to a nice spreadsheet. It looks like a mess. I could show some people. It looks like a disaster, but it gives me every reservation broken down per day, per dollar, and then I have a script that I have a script that runs into my Excel file every 2 minutes that populates everything and makes it pretty. And what it does is it just gives me all the prorated data. So it gives me everything that's on the books going forward, per property, per month, all in a nice tabulated, formulated snapshot. So I could just open that spreadsheet and I could say, okay, this is what my properties are doing. This is what's happening in the next 6 months. So it has any prorated bookings on the books, and then I could always go back and have the historical data. So that's one that I really like and use. To collect emails, another automation that I really like to collect emails and guest information is a combination of SuiteOp and Zapier and Go High Level. So anybody who checks in through SuiteOp, I don't know if anybody here uses SuiteOp. They provide their email and phone number. That gets zapped over to Go High Level, and then you're put into the pipeline of the returning guest sequence. So that's one of my. I mean, it's very helpful, and it helps you keep it helps you. It then helps you track everything in an actual CRM that you can use afterwards. Um, I use HostBuddy a lot because it's cheap and it does a really good job. We use SuiteUp for check-in and checkouts. We use Notion for our database, which is really nice because Manus it can attach to Notion. So yeah, you get the AI in Notion, but when Manus could attach to your Gmail and Notion, it becomes a powerhouse. And also Slack. So all these can be hooked up into Manus and a lot of the AI platforms that we use. So when that starts to happen, it starts getting pretty fun because your Slack could talk to your Notion and whatnot. So those are some automations I do use. Does anybody here have Notion set up? Put a one in the chat if you have Notion. If anybody here runs Notion, love it. You can do some pretty cool stuff with Notion with some integrations in AI because of its own AI. It's pretty sweet. So there's definitely some cool stuff that I'm working on coming in the pipeline. With Notion and other things and other really cool automations that just run on the background. You want a Notion workshop?
Yes. I want all the workshops, all of them.
You purchased the templates. Did you get the Hospitality HQ? You can get off mute and just talk if you want. You can just chat. I don't care.
Yeah, I was on a
you can
call
just
with them
unmute.
yesterday to learn all about their system, and I did purchase it today.
Sweet. Game changer. But take your time, set it up, do a good job. That has been a game changer. Like I don't
Is
know
that the one you
anything.
use, the template you use? I looked at a handful of them, and his is outrageously expensive, but I still did it.
Yeah, no, definitely worth it. It's been a lifesaver for me. I don't know much about my business because I'm always working and doing other stuff, um, and running other businesses, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess. But the VAs our VA team is so good, and but the problem is I'm not really connected. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what like the code. I don't even know my own business number. But Notion has been. I'm in there all the time. I ask it any question, any door code. It gives me anything I want. You could also integrate Notion in a lot of AI stuff that I've been working on that I had no idea. So that's one big thing that I'm just seeing that I could pretty much hook up Notion to my WhatsApp and everything else that I have. But you can connect it to Manus, which becomes pretty powerful, and then you can connect it to Slack. The Slack native connection is not the greatest right now, but there's other ways of doing it where you can just have your AI running in your Slack, which is awesome. So like when a VA asks a question, do you know where you put this or anything like that? Any type of weird question that's already been answered, because sometimes in Slack you're always like, oh yeah, somebody talked about that like last month, but you're trying to scroll through and the search function is not the greatest. This AI will just, anytime you ask somebody a question in your Slack channel, if that question's already been answered, it will go and find it and already give you that answer. It'll be like, yep, this has already been talked about. This is what was talked about. This was the conversation. So it just really helps bring these coming in.
Hey Ryan, I got a question about comps. My name is Brian Flint.
Yep.
Okay, number one, this is incredible. So thank you for putting yourself out there like this and bringing this forward. But for comps, I have a market that has tons of townhouses and condos, and sometimes it's hard to get the data from AirDNA. Obviously, if you're using Manus, you have to have that on your computer and have the subscription. Is there other subscriptions that Manus works with that you're going to present in this workshop that uses AirDNA and other comps to potentially build out a better comp set or more accurate?
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. Manus could log into absolutely anything you ever want it to. So you can have it when we put in an address on this one, well, it did finish up. If you put in an address, it will um, it will go onto the realtor websites and it'll start looking at stuff. So you can get really nitty gritty. You can log into other sites. You can go find other comps. You can get it to log into VRBO if you want. And you can do it all in one session. So as long as you get creative with the script and the prompt, it's a little bit more of a systematic approach. So like people talk about prompts and whatnot. Um, I can give you a quick glimpse of what the prompt what the system prompt looks like, or what a system set of instructions would look like if I had one kicking around here. Oh, let me pull one up. But it's more than a prompt. There's actually like code in these in the files that I'm giving Manus. So there's a bunch of JavaScript in there. There'll be a bunch of HTML code. Whatever that I had to when I make the prompt, whatever that I had to do to get to where I had to. So the prompts, they're a little bit more complex. So that's why I would say like that's why I am running the workshop, because it's not just like, oh yeah, I can go figure out that prompt. It's not just a prompt. It's an actual script that Manus is following that, and it's got code in it. It's got my username and password in it. You don't have to do that, but for me, I just set up a weird AirDNA password, and I didn't care, and I just hard coded my password in there because I don't want to deal with it screwing up every now and then. And then you have to get it to work around your Google. So that's one of the hiccups every now and then. So usually on your first run, you'll get a hiccup for Google and the authentication, but afterwards you're pretty good. Every now and then it'll ask you for some an authentication, but I mean it's happened like 2 or 3 times out of maybe 50 that I've run.
Okay.
So it
Got
can, it can. So that's a different script, not too far off this one, but it's totally doable. Like we can definitely talk, and I'm like if you join the workshop and you're like, yeah, that's cool. I don't care about our DNA. I want it to do this. I'd be more than happy to help kind of get it to where you want it. Because not everybody's going to want this HTML file. Maybe you're going to want it to look different. You're going to want your own branding on it. Maybe you don't like the sliders. You don't like the colors. So the workshop is really to get nitty gritty and really get you guys set up for something that works for you in the realm of, comping.
Okay, perfect. I might just send you a DM in school and then we can chat a little bit more.
Yeah, that too. Anybody who is part of STR Secrets, just get at me at school as well. Um,
Perfect.
we all know each other there. So I mean, doing the workshop, if you're not in our STR Secrets community, doing the workshop's the next best thing. Absolutely. So, and it's a lot cheaper than joining STR Secrets, I'll tell you that. However, I would never give them up for the world. Without these people, we would not be where we are. The ideas that I get are from the group. And if anybody has any ideas of what's going on in their business and may have like, I'd like to have a solution for that. DM me, email me, get at me and say, hey, like this is the problem that I'm having. I'd be more than happy to work with you to come up with a solution and or just point you in the right direction. Tell you what I would do and whatnot. Don't be shy. I like doing this stuff. I like helping people out, especially when it's saving time and helping them grow their business.
Awesome. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining us today. And Ryan will be in touch with the link for the paid workshop. And then we'll be in touch about all the other future workshops that are to come.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And
Thanks, Ryan.
reach out anytime. I'd love to help.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.
You.
Bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.